Trump Legal Cases Digest, December 23, 2023. Supreme Court faces crucial decisions on Trump's legal challenges. As the nation anticipates the upcoming 2024 presidential election, the Supreme Court finds itself at the epicenter of three pivotal issues tied to former President Donald Trump, each carrying profound implications for the political landscape. Navigating Donald Trump's legal entanglements demands a keen eye as the former president contends with an array of federal and state trials, both civil and criminal. Here are the latest highlights on the ongoing developments. The Supreme Court at the center of three major issues surrounding Donald Trump. Three major issues with significant implications for former President Donald Trump and the 2024 presidential election have either reached or are heading to the Supreme Court. The justices are tasked with addressing contentious questions about Trump's immunity from prosecution, the application of an obstruction statute linked to two charges in Special Counsel Jack Smith's indictment related to alleged interference in the 2020 election, and the potential examination of Trump's eligibility for office under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. The tight deadlines in multiple cases further intensify the legal scrutiny on these matters. District Judge Tanya Chutkan's decision in early December not to dismiss Trump's 2020 election case based on claims of presidential immunity sets the stage for a Supreme Court review. Chutkan emphasized that the presidency does not provide a lifelong get-out-of-jail-free pass. Special Counsel Jack Smith subsequently sought the Supreme Court's intervention to expedite consideration of the immunity question, aiming to maintain the scheduled March 4 trial date. The Supreme Court faces the choice of swiftly deciding on the matter or deferring it to the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, which has already slated oral arguments for January 9, 2024. Trump's lawyers urged against hasty decisions, urging the justices not to rush to decide the issues with reckless abandon. In a separate development, the Colorado Supreme Court's ruling on Tuesday disqualified Trump from the state's ballot under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. The decision, stemming from Trump's alleged involvement in the January 6, 2021, insurrection, adds another election-related issue for the Supreme Court to address. The Colorado court, which paused its decision until January 4, awaits Trump's appeal to the Supreme Court. With Colorado's Republican primary candidate deadline on January 5, a resolution is crucial before that date. Federal judges and the Supreme Court have previously dealt with similar attempts to remove Trump from the ballot, emphasizing the legal complexity and significance of these election-related challenges. Is Trump exposing the destroying partisanship of SCOTUS? Donald Trump's legal battles are not only shaping his political future but also influencing the institution that will decide these high-stakes cases. The Supreme Court faces critical decisions on Trump's immunity against criminal charges related to the Capitol riot and his disqualification from Colorado's ballot. However, before the judges can decide on one or the other issue, they'll need to respond to certain inquiries of their own. Administrators have previously started to approach Equity Clarence Thomas to recuse from any issue, including the work to upset the 2020 political race given his significant other's contribution. Thomas, known for his conservative stance, could significantly impact the court's decisions, potentially leading to unexpected coalitions. His spouse Ginny's instant messages uncovered that her endeavors extended to the high levels of the White House, asking then Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, to act to keep Trump in office. She likewise sent messages to officials in Arizona and Wisconsin. Thomas was one of three differences when the High Court dismissed political race difficulties from Trump in 2021. The calls for Thomas to recuse from related matters have just escalated from that point forward. The Supreme Court's handling of Trump's cases comes at a sensitive time, as public opinion of the court has reached a new low. The justices may need to navigate these politically charged waters carefully. With a couple of exceptions, the Roberts Court regularly swings towards conservative interests. The Roberts Court, in cases directly affecting the interests of the Republican Party and elections, rules for the Republican Party 99% of the time, said Eric Siegel, a law professor at Georgia State University, in a phone call to Courthouse News Service. So, what they perceive to be in the best interest of the Republican Party is going to be a major part of this. The court's consideration of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, a provision rarely invoked since the Reconstruction era, will test the justices' commitment to originalism. Legal experts anticipate the court's decision will offer insights into how the conservative majority interprets the constitutional provision and whether Trump can be disqualified. This part of the 14th Amendment hasn't been used very much since the immediate years after the Civil War, but a lot of the justices on the court have described themselves as originalist, so this will be a test of their commitment to that methodology, said Smita Ghosh, appellate counsel with the Constitutional Accountability Center. How they use the original meaning of the terms of that part of the 14th Amendment to come to their decision will be something to look at. However, the court faces challenges, including potential political fallout and concerns about judicial safety, as threats against judges have increased in recent years. Any choice around one of the most polarizing figures in American governmental issues is going to leave the High Court in conflict with a portion of the country. Trump's cases show up at the court at a loaded time in its set of experiences. Judge grants special counsel's request for written jury questionnaire in Florida documents case. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon has approved Special Counsel Jack Smith's request to initiate the preparation of written jury questionnaires ahead of Donald Trump's scheduled trial in the Florida classified documents case. The judge's paperless order, issued on Friday, mandates both parties to collaboratively submit a proposed jury questionnaire for the court's consideration by February 28, clearly outlining areas of agreement and disagreement. This decision represents a victory for Smith, who emphasized the substantial pretrial publicity surrounding the case and recommended a thorough jury selection process to include written questionnaires completed by potential jurors before in-person voir dire. In response to Smith's motion, Trump's legal team opposed the request in a Wednesday court filing, deeming it premature and asserting that such actions waste the court's resources, diverting attention from the defense's efforts to review extensive discovery and prepare essential motions. The Florida documents case involves Trump's indictment in June on federal charges related to the alleged willful retention of sensitive national security information at his Mar-a-Lago resort. After a superseding indictment in late July, which included charges of alleged obstruction efforts, Trump now faces a total of 40 felony counts in the case, with the federal trial set to commence in May 2024. Trump claims victory as Supreme Court delays decision on presidential immunity. The U.S. Supreme Court has opted not to fast-track a decision on Donald Trump's claim of immunity from prosecution in the federal 2020 election interference case. Despite Special Counsel Jack Smith urging an urgent ruling on the matter, the justices announced on Friday that they would not hear the case at this time. The case will now proceed to an appeals court, with the possibility of returning to the Supreme Court in the coming months. Following the decision, Trump took to Truth Social to gloat about what he deemed a rare legal win, stating, "The Supreme Court has unanimously rejected deranged Jack Smith's desperate attempt to short-circuit our great Constitution. Crooked Joe Biden and his henchmen waited 3 years to bring this sham case, and now they have tried and failed to rush this witch hunt through the courts. Of course, I am entitled to presidential immunity." However, emboldening Trump, as experts such as Eric Siegel, a law professor at Georgia State University, said in a phone call to Courthouse News Service, said, "It's a no-win situation for the Supreme Court." The Supreme Court's delay in ruling on the immunity claim coincides with a recent bombshell report revealing that Trump personally pressured 2 Republican officials in Wayne County, Michigan, not to certify the state's 2020 election results in a November 2020 phone call. The report detailed Trump telling the officials that they would look terrible if they carried out their duty. The former president's reaction to the delay suggests he views it as a validation of his entitlement to presidential immunity, further fueling his narrative against what he perceives as a politically motivated witch hunt initiated by Joe Biden and his associates. Trump contemplates Nikki Haley as VP amidst opposition from Inner Circle. Despite months of public attacks on Nikki Haley, Donald Trump is reportedly considering her as a potential running mate if he secures the GOP nomination for the 2024 presidential race. Multiple insiders revealed to Politico and CBS News that Trump has been soliciting opinions from allies about the prospect of choosing Haley as his vice president. The former president has been asking, "What do you think of Nikki?" However, the idea has faced significant pushback within Trump's inner circle, with allies and advisors cautioning against it, asserting that Haley does not align with Trump's MAGA, Make America Great Again, base. Even Trump's eldest son, Don Jr., expressed his opposition in a Newsmax interview, pledging to go to great lengths to prevent a Trump-Haley ticket. Former Fox News host Tucker Carlson also voiced his opposition, stating on his podcast this week that he intends to advocate against the union as strongly as I could. The consideration of Nikki Haley as a potential vice presidential candidate underscores the complex dynamics within the Republican Party and Trump's ongoing efforts to shape the narrative for the 2024 elections. The fact that Trump is contemplating Haley, despite earlier public criticisms, highlights the unpredictability and internal conflicts characterizing the GOP's political landscape as the 2024 race unfolds. The resistance from key figures within Trump's inner circle suggests the potential challenges and divisions that such a decision could create within the broader Republican constituency, particularly among those who closely identify with the MAGA movement. The Supreme Court's decisions on crucial matters around former President Trump will undoubtedly shape the trajectory of Trump's legal battles and his potential political resurgence in the 2024 election. The intricate interplay of legal arguments, political maneuvering, and constitutional interpretation sets the stage for a riveting legal saga with far-reaching consequences. Thanks for watching. If you like it, comment and hit the like and share buttons. Subscribe for future videos.